Welcome back to the show today. We are talking about the three-point shot and why the percentage of three-point shots are growing. But we're also going to talk about why people don't like this trend. Because I hear a lot of people griping about the amount of three-point shots that are being taken in the NBA. I'm sure you do too. As if three-point shots are boring. Or I guess they'd like to see different styles of play from different teams. Which, whatever, I don't necessarily disagree with. It would be cool if we got more contrast between styles of basketball. Like in the case of football. You have some teams with weak or strong offensive lines, and that dictates how much they have to depend on their receivers and how much they have to throw the ball. Or some teams can just give the ball to their running back 25 times a game and let them get 5 or 6 yards at a time. Or like in baseball, sometimes you have a team full of sluggers like the Yankees, who rely on hitting the ball out of the park to get runs. But they aren't particularly great fielders. And they're playing a team like the Dodgers who are good base runners. Unfortunately, styles don't really make fights in the NBA as much. Generally, all NBA teams play in a certain way. That's getting easy layups and dunks by the basket, or shooting a three-point shot. That being said, don't let people tell you the jumper is dead. If you watch 5 minutes of any NBA game, you're gonna at least see 1 or 2. So let's take a look at why the percentage of two-point shots are going down. I think a key factor is the invention of the effective field goal percentage. Effective field goal percentage is the combination of your two-point shots and your three-point shots. But it weights the three-point shots to count more than the two-point shots. So making a three-point shot is going to bring up your effective field goal percentage more than a two-point shot, 50% more. So the most effective way of playing the game is taking shots that are either really easy or worth more. Bunnies and threes, man. Like I said though, you're still gonna see those jumpers from certain players in the NBA. If you watch Suns games, you're watching Kevin Durant take a lot of jumpers. The three-point revolution happened throughout his career, and his three-point to two-point shot ratio hasn't changed at all. I think he's one of the only players in the NBA that still has an effective jumper. It's partially because he's 6'11" and he can shoot over everyone. I mean, guys like Kyrie and DeRozan are still shooting jumpers, don't get me wrong. But I think he's the guy that gets away with shooting jumpers like other players put up layups. He's allowed to shoot inefficient twos because they're efficient. But as far as passing the ball into the low post and watching two big men bang, that's not a thing anymore. It doesn't happen. The era of post moves and hook shots are done. Those shots didn't go in enough. I heard the other day that the league average of effective three-pointers is actually higher than the league average of effective two-pointers. Meaning that players are getting so good at threes that shooting a non-layup or dunk is illogical because you might as well just back up and take a shot that's worth more points. I think the most interesting part about the three-point revolution is something that people don't talk about enough. It's the way the ball bounces off the rim after a miss. A shot coming from further away is going to have a longer downward trajectory, causing the ball to bounce off the back of the rim or the backboard harder than if a two-point shot was taken. That obviously decreases the advantage that the defense has of getting the rebound. The defense is on the inside, so they are closer to where the ball is going to end up. But the further the ball ricochets out, the more likely it is to end up on the outside of the two players. That's where the offense is positioned. So those two-point shots I was talking about earlier, those are gimme rebounds for the defense. The defense has a perfect amount of space to just scoop the ball right up after a miss. It's ending up maybe 5 or 6 feet away from the basket. But when you shoot a three, you've no idea where that ball's gonna end up. Another tertiary advantage of shooting threes is the offense doesn't have to work as hard. Playing physical basketball in the paint is exhausting. Using your body to create space is gonna gas you out if you're doing it every play. If you come down the court and you have an open three at the top of the key, you just saved yourself a whole lot of energy. Everyone was criticizing Victor Wembanyama at the beginning of this season for shooting so many threes, which I get. If you have a 7'4" player, you're gonna want to put him right in front of the basket so he can just plop in easy buckets. But if Wemby is shooting a three from the top of the key, he's basically already back on defense. He's the rim protector. It's really not that bad of an idea to make him not have to travel so far away from his basket. Of course, provided he's making a lot of those threes, which is 34% shooting over 9 threes a game. For reference, that's basically the same as Luka. No one wants Luka to shoot any less threes. So the three-point shot was implemented in 1979, and teams only shot a few threes a game. It was kind of an arrogant shot to take back in the day. Through the first 5 years that the three-point shot was implemented, only 3% of shots were taken from behind the three-point line. Only a few dudes had in their bag. Larry Bird would throw up some threes occasionally, especially if the Celtics were down in the fourth quarter and had some catching up to do. But then in the late 80s, you had guys like Dale Ellis and Reggie Miller who worked it into their games and sort of made it their trademarked thing. But get this, the most threes that Reggie Miller ever shot per game for a season was 6.6. Remember, Wemby this season is shooting over 9 per game. LaMelo is averaging 13.1 three-point attempts per game this year. That's over double Reggie Miller's career high. And threes were Reggie Miller's identity. That's like who he was. You wouldn't say the same thing about LaMelo, right? He has other skills that he's known for. And this season, the amount of threes is at an all-time high. Currently, over 40% of field goals are three-point shots. So the team that makes more three-pointers is 67% more likely to win the game. And the team that even just takes more three-point shots is 53% more likely to win. The Celtics are on pace pace right now to break the all-time three-point shots made record. They get 47% of their points through three-point shots. Their entire team can shoot them. And there are some other teams that try to ride this wave, but they cannot catch it. The Bulls and the Hornets are the teams that shoot the second most amount of threes, and they shoot it about the same rate as the Celtics. But those teams are well below 500. That's because as much as people say it's all about how many threes you shoot and how many you make, there are some other aspects of basketball, like defending. So if you don't like the three-point shot, you're not gonna like NBA basketball. A lot of people are very vocal about how they stopped watching NBA basketball because all they do is shoot threes, and that's totally fair. There are plenty of other great sports leagues you can watch if you find the NBA boring now. And I'm sorry you grew to love something that eventually disappointed you. I hope that never happens to you again in your life. But if you're still watching the NBA like me, and you still love watching guys chuck balls like I do, you've noticed that some of the most low-profile players in the league have made incredible careers for themselves. Like really long careers. By being able to shoot three-point shots. Let's take Kyle Korver, who was the 51st pick in the 2003 draft. Same draft as Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, you know the draft. Needless to say, during that draft, no one was talking about Kyle Korver. But that second-round pick, he ended up having 17 seasons in the league. He scored 12,000 points and he was an all-star. All from shooting three-point shots. Korver did not excel in any other skill. That guy moved off the ball, caught threes, and shot them.
Too obvious with it. Kyle Korver leads.
Their strategy there is
tough skip feed to Korver. Over Robinson. For Turner. Korver sends it.
Korver again for a fifth three.
McRae as well.
Open for three.
Kyle Korver. Oh, do it to him!
And there are a ton of Kyle Korver types in the league right now. Guys like Sam Hauser, Duncan Robinson, Buddy Hield. They've all made careers in the league by draining threes and made some decent money too. Three-point shots are kind of like the knuckleball of basketball. Before the three-point revolution, PJ Tucker was playing over in Europe. The Phoenix Suns brought him in 2012 because they needed defense. But he developed a corner three that was so deadly, it kept him on an NBA contract for 12 years after that. That's right, PJ Tucker at 39 years old is still on an NBA contract. And a 26-year-old first overall draft pick is not. Markelle Fultz was compared to Steph Curry in the 2017 NBA draft. But after a series of shoulder injuries and surgeries, Fultz lost all of his shooting ability. And he's currently a free agent right now, trying to get on a team. So, I hate to break it to you, if you don't like three-point shots, now might be a time to look for another sport to watch. Because I imagine in 4 or 5 years, every single player that steps onto the court is going to be shooting at least 1 or 2 threes every game. Alright, thank you so much for being here. You know the drill. Leave a recommendation. I know this was a recommendation. I'll reply to every single comment. I'll say something nice. If it's a crazy long comment, I'll still reply. I might not have a crazy long reply though. Like the video if you remember. Well, I'm reminding you. So, thank you for liking the video. Thank you for being, again, thank you for being here. Be good to your mothers. Eat a corn dog.